I felt like watching McCarthy on the sidelines. He was like, oh, my God, I need this kick. I need this kick so bad. And we heard Tony Romo justifiably questioning what the hell the Cowboys were doing, letting the clock run from 28 seconds down to 4 with a timeout without running off another play. That's what you want the game to come down to, a 56-yarder when you had 30 seconds left and you let it run all the way down. McCarthy says he couldn't find the clock. Kellen Moore's clock got blocked by a camera. They were confused over personnel. It was an S show.
What do you mean his clock got blocked? You mean to tell me in a $5 billion stadium there's one clock?
Right.
Is that what he's trying to tell me?
We can watch all the games.
The whole thing is a sphere of a
clock.
Of a clock. Look up.
It is very important for Jerry Jones not to wake up this morning in the coaches' meetings and pretend like that didn't happen. It's very important. He needs to go in. It's like our show meetings, right? Spittle does a great job of, hey, I thought this was good, and I thought that was good. Now, can we tweak this, and what happened there? Start off with the positive. So Jerry can go in there and be happy he won in the city and state that he grew up with. Hey, this positive, that's positive. How about that defense? How about Micah? You guys were all over. What a great game plan. What happened with the clock, and how does that never, ever happen again? That disastrous of a scenario. Jerry Jones has to act like this morning that cost the Cowboys this game. That Zerline missed the kick and that they lost in overtime. That cost him. I got rid of Jason Garrett in part because of that mess. You're here to fix that stuff. You're a game manager. You're the CEO. Kellen's got the offense. Quinn's got the defense. Your boy, the two things you're in charge of are not looking good to start this year. Bones Fossil, your boy on special teams, that mind-numbingly stupid penalty that he either caused because of a pump block call or Azur Kamara just didn't have, he rushed too hard, even though he kind of pushed the blocker into the kicker. Was it a pump block? Why that much pressure on 4th and 20? So the two things, Mike McCarthy, that you're the most responsible for, a game manager and special teams with your hire, are not looking good to start off your tenure. I hope Jerry Jones keeps that in mind and just doesn't fall in love with the final score.
Now, if I'm Mike, I don't really have an excuse for this, so I'm going to have to make one up.
All right.
Like, seriously, there isn't one. Like, if Jerry
Well, his excuse is the clocks.
Well, no.
He said, I've never seen the clocks go out like that.
That's a bad excuse.
In a brand new stadium.
See, if you're going to come up with an excuse like that, you've got to say you basically have to make it like you're smarter than everybody else, and they're not capable of understanding.
Teach us the ways.
Okay. And this is what I didn't think of this either because I'm not smart. Brought up with the fan text, and it's a great point. It definitely is not something I would ever do. But the point is that you do have to account for a miss. And the only way you lose in regulation is kicking the ball with enough time on the clock. Let's just say, because it was a third down. Let's say they call a timeout, throw an incomplete pass. The clock stops like 20 seconds left, right? And then L.A. has timeouts. You miss, they get the ball at midfield. They have 3 timeouts left. They're able to move the ball, kick a field goal. So the only way you lose in regulation is to not let the clock run down. I would not take that chance. I would have gone for more yardage. That's just me. I wasn't settling for 56.
But you could have run another play and still let the clock run down. You had one timeout.
It would have had
at 28. So Pollard got the carry. He was on the ground. 28 seconds left.
So it would have had to be a running play, though. Or a very, very short pass that was going to be a completion that would have only gotten a few yards. Because if you use your time, you know what I mean? Because if it was an incomplete pass, if you went down the field further to get 15 or 20 yards.
I personally think it's worth it to leave the other team, to throw a pass, to try to pick up 6 or 7 more yards, and leave the other team with 20 seconds. Versus the 56-yarder, if I miss, we go to overtime. That's me. If you're going to beat me with 20 seconds left, and I know what Brady did the week before.
Right, because it was the same thing, right, with the 60-yarder before the half. They had like 15 seconds left.
They had 15 seconds left against Brady. Yeah, but their game plan in the beginning of that drive was to also run the football, which you could call into question.
Oh, yeah.
You could argue they ran it too much. So if we pass on third down, we shouldn't be leaving them with 16, 15 seconds left on the clock. These are things you have to break down. You might not like it as a head coach, and we talked to McCarthy about it on Friday, and we said it on the show. Becoming a math whiz, it's a pain in the butt. When you become a chef, or right, you open up a restaurant. I said this Friday. You want to cook. You like to cook food. You don't want to sit there and worrying about food costs and worry about who's stealing silverware and tip shares and the numbers. Unfortunately, it's a business, and you have to break down these numbers as a football coach, as a coach, period, so that you don't bumble these things at the end of these games. It's a part of the NFL.
Yeah. Well, what I would have done is at 28 seconds, after they ran that play, I'd have probably run again.
Or throw there instead of running Pollard and then run the next play.
Yeah, I would have thrown instead of running Pollard, and then I would have run on the next play.
Yes.
Whatever I did, though, was going to get the clock down to 4 seconds. Then I was calling a timeout.
Okay.
But the problem is, if we ran the ball again, LA would have called a timeout. So, either way, they were going to use one of their timeouts. And then hope for the miss. Because the miss is, when you're talking about a 56-yarder, a miss is in play. Big time. This isn't a 20-yard chip shot.
Yeah.
A miss is definitely in play there. But it worked out. I would have ran another play. There's no doubt about it. I definitely would have ran a play. I can't believe that, though, the amount of chaos that was there. You cannot have that kind of chaos as an organization. That's very Rob Ryan.